Thing earlier today, CIA Director Gina Haspel, who seems like a straight arrow actually, briefed a small group of senators on the murder of Jamal Khashoggi over in Turkey. Emerging from the briefing, senators said they were convinced after listening to her, the CIA director, that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia was responsible for the killing. And some even rebuked the Trump administration for its response, its lack of response, its deniability. Let's watch.
If he was in front of a jury, he would be convicted in 30 minutes.
You have to be willfully blind not to come to the conclusion that this was orchestrated and organized by people under the command of MBS, as do Pompeo and Mattis. I have great respect for them. I would imagine if they were Democratic, in a Democratic administration, I would be all over them for being in the pocket of Saudi Arabia. But since I have such respect for them, I'm going to assume that they're being good soldiers.
Wow, that was so sarcastic by Lindsey. He basically said they're lying. Well, just last week, the administration made a concerted effort to dismiss the link between the murder of Jamal Khashoggi and the Crown Prince. Let's watch their cover game here.
You can conclude that maybe he did or maybe he didn't.
There is no direct reporting connecting the Crown Prince to the order to murder Jamal Khashoggi.
We have no smoking gun that the Crown Prince was involved.
I'm so impressed, I shouldn't say this because I'll be sarcastic, that Lindsey Graham finally said, I'm not going along with this crowd on this one.
Yeah, he's been saying this for a while. And not only did he say, I think that the Crown Prince is behind this, he also kind of threw Mike Pompeo and Jim Mattis under the bus by saying effectively that they are using intelligence for political means. Whether they can actually now do anything about this, because anything that they vote on in the Senate can get vetoed by the president, who has made it clear that he's going to put that relationship first. But it was striking. You know, the White House didn't want Gina Haspel to go up and testify there. They set up Mike Pompeo last week.
Good for her.
She goes up, and they don't come out of that.
I love it. You know, I got to wonder about both the other two. This question of I always wonder about why people do things to get them in trouble. Why are we defending a killer?
Well, it's such a good question. I mean, it leaves open the question of whether Donald Trump is doing this because of other motivations.
Well, how about this motive, the grand deal involving the Saudis
financial interest.
And
let me tell you something.
And somehow they're going to get the protector of Mecca to somehow protect Israel's right to the holy. Are you crazy?
Well,
it is the Looney Tune idea, I think.
Well, and MBS is clearly, I mean, he's behind this. He ordered it. These senators know that. And I think that there are things, in fact, that Democrats can do, particularly when they come in the House, and call for a full briefing of the House and the Senate so that everybody's on the same page about what this intelligence is.
Yeah, I'd have to echo that. I think right now I appreciate getting in front of the cameras and expressing outrage, but now show me your walk. Show me what you're going to do. Yeah. Is there a resolution? Is there a bill? House and Senate together.
And is there a bill that the president doesn't veto? And
right.
Is sanctions really
put everybody on the record?
Extradite the prince.
Extradite him. That's right.
Put him in a caboose or the caboose or whatever it is. Thank you, Katty Kay. Thank you, Donna Edwards and Michael Steele.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.